I know what it's like to live in a world where you're very busy.
People are inspired by my manic busyness.
I know what it's like to have to rely on your creativity, and for there to be times where like the pressure and the stress is just there. And so how can Chinese medicine kind of help? Hi, I'm Marie Hopkinson. Welcome back to the Chinese Medicine Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about liver qi stagnation, wood element energy stagnation, for people who are entrepreneurial, creative types of people. What does that mean? How can it help you? How can we help you? Or how can you help yourself knowing these things? So let's get into it. Now, if you don't know what the wood element is in Chinese medicine, we're going to go through a really quick overview of what that is and aspects of how that affects people who are entrepreneurial, people who are running their own business, and relying, basically, if you rely on your creativity to do your job, then you want to watch this video because it's very useful ways that ancient aspects of Chinese medicine, how that can help you to access your creativity and facilitate your creativity in times where you really need it, or in times where a lot of stress and difficulty is happening around you. I've run several businesses. I obviously still run a business now, but I used to run a retail shop as well, and I was importing products from China. I was running 3 different businesses at once. I was running my clinic of Chinese medicine, I was doing my wholesale herbal medicine company, which I still do now, so making products with herbal medicine. And at the same time I thought, well, you know what, Maria, I may as well just also start a retail store in homewares and clothing. So I was running these 3 businesses at once. So I know what it's like to be busy.
Dude, today is gonna be nuts. I've gotta hop in an Uber right now and take a FaceTime meeting while I'm in the Uber, take me across town, where immediately I've gotta hop on a scooter and jump on a phone call to take me back right here where I have an in-person meeting in exactly 20 minutes with the same person that I have the FaceTime call with in the Uber.
I know what it's like to be creative. I know what it's like to have a lot of ideas and to think, oh, I just want to do all those ideas at once. And then you get that, and it was never ever a problem for me to get the ideas and to get things off the ground. And I'll put in the hard yards and I'd work all night and get things, to get my shop up and running. At one stage I was running a pop-up shop, which I would rent the store out to other people, and different shops would come in. And then on the weekends I would sometimes run my shop, so if I didn't have someone else in there. And that's how I started with my retail shop. And so I was working hard and I was working long hours and that kind of stuff, and that wasn't the issue for me. But the issue is, like, when you start to rely on your creativity to do your job, but what happens when the stress of the business is getting upon you? So what happens when one business wasn't doing so well and the other business is doing really well? And so I still have to be up. I still have to be good for the other business, but at the same time, the stress of the business that's not doing well was kind of weighing upon me. And this business needs my creativity to be able to function. So if I don't think of new products, there's nothing to sell. If I don't think of new ideas or creative ways in which to sell them, or it might mean that, like, it's affecting your personality, and then you're not, you don't want to be a bitch at your job. That's Australia who've made their choice. Or bitch it to your customers, to your staff. Snappy tongue, snappy tongue. Or for me, to my patients and clients. So I'm not saying this out of naivety. I know what it's like to live in a world where you're very busy.
People are inspired by my manic busyness.
I know what it's like to have to rely on your creativity, and for there to be times where the pressure and the stress is just there. And so how can Chinese medicine kind of help us? And there's a lot of things that I see as a Chinese medicine practitioner. It makes you very observant about the world, and I'm constantly thinking of things in a Chinese medicine way. And there's things that I've learned over the years that just have helped me basically sustain and make better decisions and help you get through those tough times. So maybe this is you. Maybe you're someone, you can't be an entrepreneur without going through tough times, but it's bullshit if people think that it's going to be easy street the whole way through, right? It's just not. And then most people who do well in business have failed in something, if it not be that first business or other businesses before that. So how do you pick yourself up off the floor when everything's going to shit? So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And if that's you, keep watching, and hopefully we can help you with some Chinese medicine tips and tricks and tools that you can use for yourself. So liver qi stagnation comes from the idea of the wood element in Chinese medicine being the moving aspect of our body. So its aspect is creativity. That need for moving and that need for movement to sort of facilitate that free movement in our body. So in a physiological sense, it relates to like let's say all movements in your body. So the movement that stops pain from happening would be related to the liver qi. So if we would say a smooth flow of liver qi means that when there's free flow, there's no pain. That's an ancient saying in Chinese medicine, right? So when there's free flow, there's no pain. When there's pain, there's no free flow. So what that means is, like, if your body's got pain, then there must be stagnation there. There must be that. And maybe we can even attribute this in a mental sense, right? So you can have anguish and pain and like discomfort that happens because there's no free flow in our minds. There's no free flow in that creativity. And so you can be going about your day and, you know, ideas are coming to you and you're doing well in your business. You think, yeah, I'm nailing all this. And then you come across a problem and it's like, you know, that just kind of like, bang, hits you like a roadblock and it just really stumps you and you think, okay, what do I do now? Like, you know, I had this great free flow and now I've just got this roadblock. So what do I do? So that wood aspect of our body needs that movement, right? And so one thing that's good, so the things that happen when you have liver qi stagnation is you get, aside from getting pain in your gallbladder channel, so I'm just going to show you on my little acupuncture man, aka my little boyfriend. So here, the gallbladder channel kind of goes at the side of the head, kind of goes at the side, so the back of your neck here. And this is also a wood element channel. So this goes at the side. So a lot of the time when you have wood aspect stagnation, it affects the gallbladder channel. So you can have sort of issues along the gallbladder channel here in your neck, and you're tight. So people get headaches, they get pain, they get tightness. Also along the back, sort of at the side, the hypochondrial area, which is the side, the flanks of your body. So just here underneath your ribs. So not your stomach here, this is your epigastric area, but the sides of your body here. And that's your gallbladder channel. And then also to your hip. And that's like that gallbladder 30 point on your lower your hip and down your leg. That's often affects people in a sciatic sense. They get sciatica and pain there. So you could have problems along that channel, but you could also have what we call sighing. So going, right? So that's your body's way of trying to release that stagnant qi with you, just to sort of release that stagnant energy. Now other videos I've made on this topic will go into this detail a lot more. In this video, I really want to focus in on aspects that affect you as an entrepreneur, but also give you a bit of an idea of what liver qi stagnation is. Otherwise, nothing of this will make sense. So you can have hypochondrial pain, you can have chest depression, like a heaviness, a weight on your chest. Now, not chest pain. And if you do have chest pain, like go and see your GP, go call an ambulance if you need to, if that's use your common sense. If you have undiagnosed pain in your chest or in your arms or things like that, then those can be red flag symptoms that you may be having some kind of heart problem, something like that. So you need to make sure that you don't use this YouTube video as a replacement for medicine. We're talking about things that happen that let's say, it wouldn't be pain in this situation, it would be a heaviness. So not a sharp stabbing pain, but just like a heaviness, a weight feeling. And often these symptoms are things that people would dismiss very easily, especially someone who's an entrepreneur. A lot of people just go, oh, I'm just going to get on with my day, I'm just going to get on with things. And look, that can be good in a way because you do just plow through and you get on with stuff. You don't become a whinger and a complainer, but these symptoms can sometimes be annoying or lingering there. And so if that's happening to you, then maybe this can explain why this is happening. So you might have a feeling like a weight on your chest. Some people can also get like a feeling of a lump in their throat, like as if they're going to cry. If the qi stagnation becomes very bad, then that can also kind of push up this feeling to your throat. And you can feel like, it feels like, a difficulty to swallow, kind of a symptom coming and going from time to time. And that sighing, so going like that. Now, a lot of times people sigh over the things that they're frustrated about.
Texas, that's what a governor gets to do.
If you are an entrepreneur and you've got staff and you notice that your staff are sighing a lot over certain things, that's showing you that they're frustrated and they've got stagnation around that issue. Johnny, how are you going on that project? Well, you wouldn't believe, blah, blah, blah. It's showing you that they've got stagnation. So it's very useful to kind of like just have that perception about, these things. And so it's your body's way. Some people just can't hide it. It's just they just want to release that stagnation about that stuff, and then that tightness and that sort of sometimes headaches, or if it's headaches, it's usually at the side of the head, that kind of thing. So what can we do about it? So and how does it affect us in an entrepreneurial way? I think it affects our creativity for one. So when you don't have free flow of that wood element, you get these symptoms kind of build up, and then it blocks your creativity because you just either like bogged down by the stress, by the things you have to do today. But also what can happen, I think, in an entrepreneurial sense, is you start that business or that idea because you have like a creative spark to do something. But then you can also get bogged down in all these details of having to run the business in things that you may not have thought were part of the business. Or you thought, oh, I'll be able to outsource that to somebody else. But you just don't have the financial resource to be able to do that at the time. Or you were outsourcing it to someone, and then times got tough and things got tight, and now you have to do it. And you were like, oh, I used to be able to give my bookwork to somebody else. I'm not really great at bookwork. I don't want to write enter all this data into the computer about it. I'd rather just make the products and sell them. I'd rather talk to the customers and things like that. And sometimes we can get stuck in like being bogged down in these things that are not creative, and they don't spark that anything for you, and they're just jobs that have to be done. And so you're kind of bogged down in those jobs that have to be done, and maybe it's just a season that you have to get through. So what I would suggest, if that is you and you are in that situation, is okay, one is you can make a plan to try to get yourself out of it, because if you don't have a plan, then it's highly unlikely that things will change, right? So you make a list of the things that you have to do that you really don't want to do, that annoy you. I've done that before. And then it can start to kind of feel like there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So like the next time the BAS rolls around, you may still have to do that. You may still have to enter that data, but you're not thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to do this forever. And you are starting to think in that way. Okay, it's opening the door for other things, maybe possibilities here. Or like when you're hiring staff, you're thinking that these are the things I need to hire, for, because you don't want to be stuck bogged down in doing things that aren't you're not passionate about, and you're not excited about, or you're not things that really detract away from your drive and your creativity. So something about the wood element is actually, it's also our drive, and it's linked in Chinese medicine to life planning and that foresight. So people who have depression, clinical depression, or they go through periods of depression, they often lose the ability of foresight in their life. They don't think of, oh, in 10 years I'm going to be this, in 5 years. They couldn't give a crap about life planning or seeing themselves in the future and seeing what, And so I think as an entrepreneurial person, certainly some people who are wired like this, you tend to have a really high ability to kind of see into the future, because you're thinking, well, what I do today is, affecting what happens next week, and that's affecting what's happening next year, and that's affecting me in 10 years, in 20 years, that kind of thing. And so you're thinking, well, if I want to be here in 10 years' time, I need to make these decisions and do these things now so that I can reach those goals then. So I think people who are entrepreneurial have a high intensity of that wood element happening in their life. But what I have seen to happen, and what I can say from my own self, is that it doesn't help you when you're bogged down with stuff that isn't creative, that isn't driving you, that you don't feel fulfilled by. Or you may have a lot of that stuff to do in your life, but then you just, or you physically just have so many jobs to do. You have so much stuff to do, you've got to pay, and all these things are urgent. So if you've ever followed the Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he's got this really great sort of quadrant in there, and he's got urgent, important, unimportant, and not urgent. I think those are the 4 categories. So basically, if you're always operating in that urgent category, and you're like, okay, I need to pay my staff, my bills need to be paid, or the electricity is going to be cut off, and I need to order that stock, or we'll run out of this, and it's a very stressful period. And some people sometimes you just, maybe financially you don't have enough money to hire people to fill those spaces and things like that. So I'm not trying to say sometimes things are what they are, and I just really hope that this video and that this can help you to realize that there are stuff you can do for yourself, and that there are things to consider. Okay, this is physiologically what happens in my body from a Chinese medicine perspective. We're really thinking about things in terms of are we living in harmony with nature? Are we living in harmony with our body and with, I guess, the constitution that you were given, right? And so some people are wired like to do more stuff, and I think the wood aspect of life, the wood aspect of our body, is the doing aspect of things. And so you get a fulfillment out of doing that. I mean, I used to have people come over to my shop, or not come over to my shop because it was closed, but like I used to come into my store late at night because I'd get an idea and I want to make a product, I'd want to do something. And then sometimes people would see me in the store because they were walking past, there was like a cafe and bar sort of nearby or something, and they'd be like, why are you here so late? Like, almost like, what's wrong? Like, and I, as a young person in business, I was thinking, oh, there must be something wrong with me, because surely my business would be functioning better if I wasn't here at 11 o'clock at night. Like, it must be something wrong with me. And it was just my own stupidity, my own naivety to realize, like, that was actually good for me to do that. Like, I wanted to be there. I didn't have to be there. I was there because I wanted to, like, I had this idea and I wanted to make a product and I wanted to experiment with something and get it done. It wasn't that I had to be there. I wasn't like, oh no, there's so much stuff to do, I have to come in and work all night long. I wanted to work on stuff. I wanted to create these products and create these ideas, and so I was coming in to kind of, you know, mix up some potions or something and try to experiment and make something, right? And but then so part of it is just realizing that about yourself. Okay, not everyone's wired the same, and some of it is also just the stupid perceptions of our society, like thinking, oh, you've got to work 9 to 5, otherwise you're a failure. Got to have that work-life balance, otherwise you're a failure. Well, everyone's wired differently, and some people don't need that work-life balance or that, you know, so-called work-life balance. So it becomes who you hang out with and who you listen to, and what voices are you allowing in your mind and in your world to speak into your life, to realize, okay, now there is a balance to things as well. I'm not saying you just work all the time and never, but some people are wired that as they work, they feel fulfillment out of it, they feel an enjoyment out of it. So if there's something that you do in your business that you think, I could just keep doing this all day long, right? I could just, I do it and I feel energized. I mean, it might physically exhaust you if you did do it all day long, but at the same time, there's something that you just feel really fulfilled out of doing, right? And you think, I didn't even make any money out of that, but I feel like I could just keep doing that. What do you get really passionate about? Maybe I'll make another series about this because there's like a lot of things we could talk about in this video. But the main thing I want to get at is, okay, how do you get out of that situation when how can Chinese medicine help you in a way to get out of that situation when I think recognizing, one, entrepreneurs have a high drive of wood in their life, and you kind of need that, you rely on that, and when that's not there, it can be detrimental to you because your creativity goes down and your drive goes down, and when that goes down, well, you know, your business can go down the toilet if you don't focus on getting money in the door. For some people, it can be a very volatile kind of industry, right? Things don't just hum along by themselves. If they're left to their own devices, they're usually just going backwards, right? So I guess if you can harness that liver chi, that wood aspect of our body, and really know how to utilize it and know when things aren't going so great in that aspect, then you can you can really reap the benefits of that. So what are the things like that you notice that your liver chi is getting stagnant? Okay, you're getting chest oppression, not pain, but like a tightness, a heaviness, a hypochondrial pain, the tightness kind of around your ribs, sighing, the emotionally getting angry, getting frustrated, being snappy, right? Being snappy Tom. Like in Australia, we used to have this old ad, the cats of Australia made their choice. Snappy Tom, Snappy Tom. Snappy Tom. If you're becoming a Snappy Tom, then you know that you probably some liver chi stagnation there. Now that's not good for business. It's not good for your staff. It's not good for your customers, and it's not good for your employees or whatever. Like or your boss even. Like you might just be an entrepreneur working in another, in a larger corporation or something like that. And so like emotionally, it can be hard. It can get harder. Like it feels like you're at the end of your tether, or it can feel like you one more thing, and I'm gonna serenity now. Explode. I'm gonna get angry. George is getting angry. Something like that, right? So that frustration is because that liver chi can't move. It's not allowed it's basically constrained, and that wood aspect of your body is kind of constrained, and that can be because there's no outlet for it in creativity and in that movement of your body. So you might be like that, or it could be a physical thing. So the things that move the liver chi are singing, laughing, and exercise. And then there's some other food things that I'll give you that you can try and use as well. Okay, so singing is one thing, is that that aspect of moving chi through the lungs, okay, and through the diaphragm area. If you want to know more about these things, I'll put another video in there to show you sort of in more detail how you can use that. But like, you don't have to be a professional singer. You don't have to be singing in tune. You can just sing to relax yourself. So just to sing to, just sing for fun. So that's one thing, okay, singing. Laughing is another one. So laughing helps to kind of promote that movement of energy in your body. So promoting that movement psychologically and mentally, and to get to basically just help with the stress. I mean, if you're in business, you're gonna there's gonna be stress. If there's not stress, I'd like to know what business you're in. Put it in the link. Put a link of your business in the comments if you don't have any stress in your business, because I'd like to know what business that is. But even if you're in the relaxation business, you've got to have stress, right? I mean, stuff happens. Like, if people are involved, stress is going to be there. And so when you've got a free flow of liver chi, it kind of helps you. You can go with the flow. You can deal with stuff. Oh yeah, stuff happens, and people who are entrepreneurially wired usually are like that. But then when you've got that stagnation, it becomes harder to deal with the stress, and and that's where you can become angry and snappy, and and get actually, or physical symptoms can happen. You can get sighing, get annoyed, that kind of stuff. Okay, and so singing, laughing. So laughing also, like, I encourage you to get a couple of funny clips on your iPad or your phone or something like that, where you know where they are. You don't have to sit there and watch hours and hours of footage. You can just watch a couple of things. Might be a video of your kid doing something funny that, when you watch it, you just laugh. Or even just having some ideas. I sometimes write little funny stories, or even things about myself. Like, I find it easy to laugh at myself. And it's good to just have a laugh. Or look, if you're going through a super stressful time, find a friend who's you can just go and have a laugh with them. Go out for dinner, have a good night, and just have a laugh, and have that cathartic sort of, that helps to kind of get things moving. Now, so singing, laughing, and the third one is exercise. So doing regular exercise helps. When I was running my shop, sometimes I would just go out in the lunchtime and go to the gym.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold.
How this helps you is, okay, in your mind you think, I need to be productive, I need to keep going, and at the same time it's not, right? And you're just thinking, you might have all these papers all over your desk, and like the bills are piling up and the stuff is there, and you just think, or you just feel like, I'm not that productive today, right? And so just stop and go for a walk. Stop and do some exercise. And you have to tell yourself, like, that is productive to do that. Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, you kind of think, well, no, I can't waste the time. Like, I need to be at work all the time. Like, I need to work, and that can be the detriment of someone who's wired like that in that wood aspect. And that's what I mean. Like, it's not, you don't have to work all the time. But sometimes you can feel a benefit of working all the time, but you have to be aware, I think, in yourself when is this not productive work? Just because you're sitting at your desk doesn't make it productive work, okay? Which brings me to the next point about sitting at your desk. If you can try to get as much opportunity to to stand instead of sit, that will help you immensely, because you've basically got that free flow, you've got that movement, you've got that, that ability to kind of move. Whereas when you're sitting, all your organs are being squashed. Just be aware of how much, are you on your devices, like, these phones and things like that. So as soon as you're on this, my posture's like that. As soon as I'm on this, my posture's hunched. Like, you're hunching your shoulders, your rhomboids on your back are going to be tight, and they're going to be stretched out, and so your shoulders are hunching over, and that's also, again, not good for your posture, and that causes more stagnation. So stretching is good, like stretches that stretches you can do. Go to yoga, go join the gym, go for a walk. If you're not very fit, if you're a person that like you've just gotten busy and you've been, sometimes the detriment of being an entrepreneur is you're living the high life. You're eating a lot of delicious foods that are making you overweight, or not being able to exercise, or just being too busy to do that. And so do the exercise that you can do, but just being aware that movement creates that free flow, and then sometimes that can free up your creativity, and then that can be more beneficial to you than sitting down at your desk and just going, I've got to squeeze out this project, I've got to get this done. And so that would be my advice based on Chinese medicine of how you can kind of help. So if you do feel like you've got liver qi stagnation, the first thing is to do some exercise. Go for a walk, go for a stretch. If you're already part of it, maybe you were a part of a gym and you've let your membership lapse or something like that, or you got a bike, get it out and go for a cycle, something like that. Find ways to incorporate that exercise. Maybe if you ride halfway to work, or maybe you work from home and you don't really have that much of that opportunity. So make time for yourself to go for a walk, or do exercise. Create yourself a sit-stand workstation. Go and buy a tall desk, or get one of those things, or even just use books and raise up your desk on books. I've done that before, and that makes a huge difference. So if there's stuff that you've got to do on your computer, that you are forced to kind of stand and do some of that stuff rather than having to sit and do it. So those are the things you can do: singing, laughing, exercise. Foods you can use are pungent food. So you don't want so much pungent that it's making you sweat. That's one detriment of pungent. So pungent in Chinese medicine is like ginger, garlic, basil. Mint is pungent, but it's a cooling pungent. So we would normally use like warm pungent. And so those aromatic, like clove, those aromatic, fragrant herbs, coriander, that are used in your culinary sense. So grow some of those things, spring onions, that kind of stuff, and throw those onto your food freshly. Cook with those herbs, have a curry, that kind of stuff. So like having a curry for lunch in winter is a really great way to kind of nourish your body, but have that aromatic kind of pungent aspect going on as well. So these are some of the things you can use to help help your body with the liver qi stagnation issues. I'll put a link in the description below about some other things you can use for liver qi stagnation if you're interested in this. And I hope that this is going to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. If you've got a question or you've got a comment to make, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching. If you're not a subscriber already, make sure you click subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other videos from me in this series. Thanks very much.